Today we shall be discussing three-dimensional geometry, and we shall have this sum, which says that the diagram below shows a right pyramid, VA, BCD, with V as the vertex. The base of the pyramid is a rectangle ABCD. This one is A, this one is B, this one is C, this one is D, with AB 4 centimeter. AB is this one, will be 4 centimeter, and BC will be 3 centimeter. And then the height of the pyramid is 6. So from this middle part to the top will be 6 centimeters. This one is 6 centimeter. Just like that. Therefore, the first question is calculate the length of the projection of VA on the base. Then the second one is angle between the face VAB, and the base. Then finally, the last one is P is the midpoint of VC, this one is the midpoint of that, and Q is the midpoint of VD. VD is this one, then we have Q there. Now the question is find the angle between the planes VAB and the plane ABPQ. Okay, so we shall begin with the first part. That one is the first one is that they want us to calculate the projection of VA onto the base. So to calculate the projection of VA onto the base, this is what we shall do. We shall have the line that will pass through this way. So the projection of VA onto the base will be the length from this point to that one. So to get that length, we shall use Pythagoras theorem. We shall say this way. So we shall have that and this one. So this is our point. So that from here to here will have to be 4, then from here to here to be 3. So we shall get that length, which will be given by 3 squared plus 4 squared plus 4 squared, and then we look for the square root. This one will give us what? The square root of 9 plus 16, giving us the square root of 25, which is simply equal to 5. And the projection will be from this point to the middle. Therefore, the projection becomes 5 divided by 2, which gives us 2.5 centimeters. So the projection of VA onto the base is 2.5 centimeters. When we go to B, Roman 12, Roman 2 says angle between the face, this one is there, that's Roman 1, then Roman 2, the angle between the face VAB and the base. V is this one, A is this one is B, and that base. And we know that to get the angle between that two planes, we will say that the angle between the two planes is the angle between two lines, one on either plane, and should be perpendicular to the line of intersection. So for this case, we shall pick the height, then we come this way, up to this point, this one, then we shall move upwards like that. So we shall have a triangle that will look like this, like that, then this way. So from here to here, it will be 6 centimeters. Then from here to here, because the length BC is 3 centimeters, therefore from there to the middle will be 1.5 centimeters like that. So the angle that is required will now be angle that will be formed by this plane and the other plane. And as we have said, angle between the two planes will be that angle that is formed between the two lines on either plane, and it must be perpendicular to the line of intersection of the two lines. So for this case, it will be that angle. So to get that angle, we shall apply the SOHCAHTOA rule. So we shall say the tan of theta will now be equal to opposite of adjacent. So for this case, this one will give us the opposite of this angle is 6, then the adjacent is 1.4, so that this one gives us 4. So to get theta will be equal to the tan inverse of 4, so therefore theta will be, we can multiply this one on our calculator. So now this one becomes the tan inverse of 4, giving us 75.96. 75.96 degrees. So that one becomes now the angle between the face VAB and the base. Then we shall go to the last part. That part B. The B side, P is the midpoint of VC and Q is the midpoint of VB. Find the angle between the planes VAB and the plane ABPQ. So for this case, this is where we shall have this one, we shall just have a line like this. So we shall be required to come up with a line from this point to this one. As we move downwards here, then we rise up again. So in that case, we shall have a triangle that will resemble this way. So to move from this point to this one, it will be the same as 3 centimeter, which will be this one. Then from this point to this one, we can be in a position to get that length such that we can have from here up to here is 6 in the middle. Then when we move here, will be half of that one becomes 3, I mean 1.5, so that we get the hypotenuse part. So we shall have just a triangle that looks like this one. So for this case, this one will be 1.5 centimeter, which is from the middle to that part. And then the height is what? Is 6 centimeter. So we shall use Pythagoras theorem to get the length. The length there, I mean the hypotenuse, will be 6 squared plus 1.5 squared, and then we look for the square root. This one will give us the 36 plus 2.25, so that we end up with 38.25. So the square root of each, like that. So the square root of 38, square root of 38.25, this one will give us 6.185 centimeters. So we were told that this one was the midpoint, and the length that we have obtained is from this point to the top. So the midpoint becomes here to here, so that we have that. So that one becomes now, to get that length, becomes 6.185 divided by 2. So that we will be able to end up with 6.185 divided by 2. We end up with 3.092 centimeters. So our length from this point to that one is the same as 3.092 centimeter. So from that area, we know that this was a right angle triangle. So in the corner there, we had an angle. Remember, on this side, we obtained the angle was in 75.96, and because this side and the other one are just the same, it means that this angle as well, this point here, is the same as that angle, which is 75.96 degrees, like that. So once we reach this point, we shall apply the cosine rule for us to end up with the length on this side. So we shall say now x squared will be equal to, the cosine rule states that a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc, the cos of a. So we apply the same rule in that one, so that this one gives us x squared is equal to 3 squared plus 3.092 squared minus 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3.092 cos a, which is now 75.96. So we can go to our calculator and say this one is 3 squared plus 3.092 squared. This one gives us x squared is equal to 18.56 minus, so this one gives us 2 times 3 times 3.092 cos 75.96. So that this one gives us 4.50 like that. So x squared will be equal to 18.56 now minus 4.50. So that this one gives us 14.06. So the value of x becomes the square root of 14.06, so that we will be able to get the square root of that number to be 3.75 centimeters. So it means on this side, where there was x, it is the same as what? 3.75 centimeters. So once we reach there, we shall now say this way. Now we shall say they wanted us, we want to get this angle at this point, that angle theta. Therefore we shall apply the sine rule and say this one will become now sine rule. We know that a over the sine of a is equal to b over the sine of b. So for this case, we have 3.092 over sine theta, which is this one, should be equal to 3.75 over the sine of 75.96. So to get the sine of theta will be equal to 3.092 multiplied by the sine of 75.96 divided by 3.75. So sine theta will be equal to, now we get the value from the calculator, that one 3.092 multiplied by sine 75.96 divided by 3.75. So we will be able to end up with 0.7999. So theta becomes equal to the sine inverse of 0.7999. So theta will be equal to the sine inverse of the answer, which gives us 53.13 degrees. So once we get this one, we now say, because they wanted us to calculate, find the angle between the planes VAB and the plane ABPQ. VAB and the plane ABPQ. So there is this plane that will move this way, and the angle that we have been able to get was the angle on the lower side. But the plane wanted us to get the angle at the top. And we know that the entire angle from this point to the bottom here was the same on the other side, which was the 70. We obtained it in the first case was 75.96. So to get the theta that is required, we subtracted this one. So our alpha, that the angle that is required now, becomes 75.96 minus 53.13. So that this one gives us, becomes 75.96 minus 53.13. That one gives us 22.83 degrees. So the required angle is 22.83 degrees. Thank you for watching this video.